It's a great scene setter, isn't it? International Rugby League returns to Fox League. The first Pacific Championships, and the opening game sees the Australian women against the New Zealanders, the Jillaroos against the Kiwi Ferns. It's a repeat, thumbs up indeed, for a repeat of last year's World Cup final. Good afternoon, everybody. Matt Russell alongside a couple of very proud Jillaroos, Tasha Gale, Joe Barrett. Good afternoon to you both.
Good afternoon, Maddie. Good afternoon, Joey. Good afternoon, everyone. A very different looking Kiwi side this time, Maddie, and a lot of NRLW experience in the Ferns.
Good afternoon, Tasha and Maddie and everybody listening along. I'm so excited. We're almost at 3 decades of trans-Tasman rivalry between these two sides, and I cannot wait to see this next chapter unfold. Officially,
they first did battle, Joe, in 1995. The first game between the Jillaroos and the Kiwi Ferns. And here they are, you're right, nearly 30 years down the track. Meeting in back-to-back tests, really. They decided the World Cup late last year. And here they are opening the international phase of 2023. Ali Brigginshaw, a co-captain of Australia, alongside Kezzy Apps, and co-captains also for the Kiwi Ferns. There's one of them, Georgia Hale, alongside Racine McGregor, arms in arms. The teams will link up before we go onto the ground for the official ceremony. It's a big night of rugby league. The women, Australia, New Zealand, then the men, Australia, Samoa, from Queensland Country Bank Stadium in Townsville.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please now stand for the New Zealand National Anthem, today to be performed by Fane Moses, followed by the Australian National Anthem from Army musician Liz Cherry.
Brilliant from Liz Cherry and Farnay Moses. The anthems delivered. The teams will go into another short warm-up now. Tasha Gale, you were Jillaroo number 7, Joe Barrett, Jillaroo number 80, but we stand by now for the haka from the Kiwi Ferns. The Australians, including 8 players from that Dally M Team of the Year, will take their formation, and the haka, the traditional lead up to all tests, Australia v New Zealand.
One of my favourite parts.
The traditional challenge to the Australians from the Kiwi Ferns. You were there when this rivalry started in 1995, Tasha. And Joe, you've been part of it as it has developed over the years. Give me your thoughts on these two teams, starting with the green and gold, as I mentioned, star-studded across the field, Tasha.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, so many Dally M players of the team out there for the Australian team. But what I'm interested in, they may have lost that the World Cup final by 50 points, but this is a very different looking Kiwi team. They have so much NRLW experience, and I'm really looking forward to a much tighter battle.
Oh, such an emotional day. We're looking at this Trans-Tasman rivalry takes off the back of the longest NRLW competition we've ever had. And every one of these players has performed so brilliantly for their teams. But we know the history of Women's Rugby League, and we're more familiar with the more recent times where Jillaroos have dominated. But let's not forget the Kiwi Ferns won the first 3 World Cups, and the Jillaroos barely came near them. So it's been an even competition over the years. More recently, the Jillaroos have dominated, but that World Cup loss to the Kiwi Ferns last year will really be strong in their memories, and they'll be out to prove a point today and really put some pride in that jersey.
It was 54-4. The Jillaroos took the World Cup final 10 tries to 1 on the back of a huge share of possession, 8 offloads to 3. Kiwi Ferns missed 53 tackles. They'll be embarrassed by that World Cup final performance and results. Hope to get back to the performance they put up in the group stage when pipped by the Jillaroos 10-8. So it was a big difference between group meeting and World Cup final meeting. Jillaroos, Kiwi Ferns. There are 9 debutants in this New Zealand lineup. 2 for Australia, including the player on screen. Your back-to-back NRLW Dally M Player of the Year. Tamika Upton, Jess Elliston, the starting front rower. They're the 2 newbies for the green and gold. The Pacific Championships underway on Fox League, and it's Shannon Martor leading the Jillaroos forward. She led the NRLW for run metres by a forward in the season just gone, and she's first out of the blocks today. Backed up by Samaima Taufa, the Canberra captain, a veteran of the international arena now, Samaima. This time, it's Martor feeding her fellow starting front rower, Jess Elliston, as the Jillaroos look to navigate their first set safely. Sort of set a completion in the bank as Olivia Kernick on this left edge proves stubborn to get to ground. Does well to hold the ball, the arm caught awkwardly. Now Davis back to Elliston again. This 25-year-old debutante. 4 games for the Maroons. Her first for Australia, and at the back end of the set, she's come up with the first error of the game. And they'll hand it over to the Kiwi Ferns.
Well, that was a big effort by the Kiwi Ferns in the defence. You saw 5 hit-ups by some of the best forwards in our great game, and they were very contained in the metres. Great defence by the Kiwi Ferns, and they've been rewarded with a penalty.
They really have. Their tremendous start also by the defence of the Kiwi Ferns. You could see those girls fired up, particularly some of their debutantes that were on the screen. They'll be ready to make their mark and create their own legacy. And unfortunately, an error by Jess Elliston on debut and her first touch of the ball. She needs to move on and let that one go.
Shanice Parker, a nice, safe set of hands to have the first carry for the Kiwi Ferns. As I touched on, 9 debutantes in this lineup. So lots of nerves out there, you'd imagine, as they come back to the middle where the 2 21-year-olds, Maya Hilmawana and Angelina Takaranga Katoa, as the starting front rowers for the Kiwi Ferns. But there's an early incompletion from them as well. They give it straight back to the Australians in their own half, the Kiwi Ferns. And Shannon Martor goes straight to work.
Unfortunate one for the Kiwis. You did say 9 debutants, but they've got plenty of NRLW experience behind them. But that's been early errors from both the Australian team and the Kiwi.
Here's Taryn Aitken going flat and short for Koenig. Every player engaged today is fresh from the most recent NRLW season. They should be fit and informed to put on a show on Fox League. Here's Taufa inside the 10. Are they about to land an early blow, the Jillaroos? For their head coach, Brad Donald, Ali Brigginshaw. Now Upton holding the ball out and giving it off for Robinson. Then it's put down by Jess Surgis. The line was calling her name, but the ball jumped free of her arms, and that's an opportunity lost. Do you back Jess Surgis to score here, ladies?
Every time, Maddie, every single time. It's just these first couple of minute jitters. The timing of that pass wasn't quite right, but I think Jess well and truly should have hung on to that, and normally would.
There was going to be tacklers arriving on the line, but you'd say momentum gets Jess Surgis over the line had she held the ball.
Well, it certainly looked like that. She's got the speed and strength, and of course there we got Maima Taufa on screen already showing claret, which unfortunately there'd be a stat on that, I'm sure, Matt, with how much she ends up needing attention in a game. But you can see, Tash, you mentioned it, a little bit of jitters from both sides. They really need to relax. The Jillaroos have a lineup that's played together a lot more than the Kiwis, but there's so much build up to these games. They really need to absorb the pressure of the first 10 minutes and play some simple footy and hold on to it.
Some running repairs for the reigning Dally M Lock of the Year for the last 2 seasons. Maima Taufa, number 13, off the tackler there. Blood from the nose, but that's wiped away, and she's good to continue as the Kiwi Ferns struggle here to get back out beyond their 20-metre line.
You can also see why Maima Taufa is also the NRLW Dally M Captain of the Year, because she puts her body on the line every time, as Joey mentioned earlier, always spilling a bit of claret for her team.
Good run from Takaranga Katoa, backed up by Georgia Hale to get them out of their red zone. Now Maya Hilmawana runs into good contact from Taufa again. Here's Racine McGregor, the Dragons captain, kicking just inside the 40. It's the 40-30 in play in the women's game and the 20-50. Slight variations on those kick rules we have in NRL competition and international men's competition. After this, Kangaroos against Tor Samoa. Andrew Voss, Greg Alexander to bring you all the action in the second leg of our openers. Brigginshaw goes through the middle, straight to Tamika Upton. Shut the gate, she's away. On debut, it's taken fewer than 5 minutes for Tamika Upton to ignite and sets Queensland Country Bank Stadium alight.
Well, that is the absolute magic that is Ali Brigginshaw. She really steps up on the big stage. It's been all a forwards battle, but Ali Brigginshaw has that great vision. She saw they're a bit lazy there behind the marker, sprints through above the advantage line, and guess who's waiting in support? Tamika Upton.
Welcome to playing for Australia, Tamika Upton. Such a beautiful start for her, but great support play, the vision from Ali Brigginshaw, and the mistake by the Kiwi Ferns not to work hard at marker. And when you do those little things in a test match like this in front of Ali Brigginshaw, she will play what is in front of her. Only recently she was telling me you can't defend Tamika Upton, she's very hard to prepare against. Well, Ali's not much better in terms of what she can do when the opportunity presents. And the Jillaroos open the scoring 4-0 with only moments into the game.
Couldn't agree more with you, Joey. I love the way Ali Brigginshaw, that vision, quick to snap that up as she paces above the advantage line well and truly. Got cleaned up a little bit late there, but Tamika Upton always pushing up, always in support, and gets a try on debut.
List for 6-0 to the Jillaroos early in Townsville. Ali Brigginshaw from right in front, doesn't make mistakes from there. The leading point scorer in the most recent NRLW season, Ali Brigginshaw, but Tamika Upton, your reigning Dally M medalist in the women's game, back-to-back Karen Murphy medals for player of the game in those consecutive Newcastle premierships. What a resume she is building. 4 grand finals, 4 wins for Tamika Upton in NRLW.
Yeah, I put a call out earlier, like, for one of those premiership rings. She's got quite a few, maybe she'd give me one, but she hasn't replied.
She might fill both hands by the time her career is over. Just 26 years of age, and would have played for Australia earlier than this. A calf injury keeping her out of last year's World Cup. Catching plenty by surprise to learn that it's Tamika's Upton, or Tamika's debut in Jillaroos colours. So Aiken finding Koenig again.
You're right, Maddie. She's arguably the best player on the planet, and it's so amazing to think she's on debut here for her country.
Here's Samama Taufa through the middle. Forced to ground by Takalanga Katoa, along with Georgia Hale. Expect Hale and Taufa to lead their respective teams' tackle counts today. Until getting through more work as well. Here's Brigginshaw, her kicking game to the fore, high above Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Arpy Nichols makes a good catch under pressure. And let's see if the Kiwi Ferns can get through this set safely. Here's one of the debutantes, Anessa Biddle, just 21 years of age. A great season, a great rookie season with the Cronulla Sharks.
Yeah, she certainly has. Anessa Biddle, Rookie of the Year. And shout out to the Sharks coach. She's off contract come 1st of November, so I think they'll want to snap her up and tie her up for another few years.
Janice Parker showing her strength again. One of the players to come out of those back-to-back premierships at Newcastle. Now Maya Hilmoana, part of the leadership team in this Kiwi Ferns lineup. Born in New Zealand. McGregor trying to kick the Kiwi Ferns into a prominent position here. The bounce tidy, cleaned up quickly by Upton, and she gives Julia Robinson a run.
Julia Robinson really handles those forwards, taking up those early runs right up the middle. If anybody was watching the highlights footage, Julia Robinson got snapped in half by Maya Hilmoana, but bounced straight back up. That was a good hit, and she's back in there to do it again today.
Yeah, the last World Cup final, that was a highlight. It's been played a lot in the lead up to this test match, but equally, Robbo also scored 2 tries, so she's got the physicality to match the Kiwi Ferns, and you really have to turn up because they are so strong and physical, and it's been the hallmark of their rugby league since they started playing for their country.
Aiken sends it down the short side. Kelly, the tackle is a good one from Arpy Nichols. So 1 play left for the Australians, who are asking questions again. Brigginshaw kicks across the ground, didn't get it as she would have liked, and instead it goes very easily over the dead ball line. 7 tackle set here for New Zealand. Here's Isabel Kelly, one of 5 players in this Australian backline. 5 players in the backline to make the Dally M Team of the Year.
Absolutely incredible backline the Australian team have, but shout out to Arpy Nichols, because Izzy Kelly is not a player that's easy to stop one-on-one, but she wrapped her up really nicely there.
Shanice Parker with another important carry. Quinlan just dropping Mele Hufanga underneath, and the Australians swarm around Mele, knowing her tackle-busting ability. 10 tries in the NRLW season. Mele Hufanga just 1 behind the leader, Tegan Berry. The Dragons fullback unable to make this Australian team. Such is the backline strength. Here's Lation Albert-Jones, had a really strong NRLW campaign and found her best form during the semi-final and grand final wins for Newcastle. So a shift here towards Hafanga, who finds a bit of room and just drops Leanne Hafanga back towards open field. So Mele Hafanga, Leanne Hafanga on this left edge for the Kiwis. McGregor's kick goes high, down to Upton, always well placed. And Tamika gobbles off 10 metres plus before being trapped by Quinlan.
Well, despite the fact that Kiwi Ferns are behind, they've actually had a fairly consistent start so far in this game. They've got a better completion rate than the Jillaroos so far, and they haven't had the ball as much. So given that the Jillaroos are on the board, that was probably, while it is the vision of Ali Brigginshaw, it was also the lack of tight defence by the Kiwi Ferns. They should take some confidence out of this first 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see, I think a little bit of an error here, miscommunication there. I think Chapo's just overrun that.
So here's an opportunity for the Kiwi Ferns to build on the stats you just pointed out, Joe Barrett. They've conceded the first try. They'd love to level it up here to get some reward for their promising work. Mele Hafanga gets early ball and then tries to get rid of Robinson, who does enough, assisted by Jess Surgis. Nursing finger and toe injuries, Jess. Quinlan, middle of the ground, Angelina Takaranga-Katoa. A Rooster and most recently a St George Illawarra Dragon. Here's Georgia Hale giving it early. And now Lation Jones running off McGregor.
That was a lovely ball to Lation Jones, but really good defence by the Australian team.
It was Koenig making first contact. Takaranga-Katoa again. They're close to Kiwi Ferns. Where's the scoring punch coming from? Hale on for Hilmoana, who led that haka pre-game. Grimacing in pain here, but she looks okay. Last play from close range. McGregor chips out towards a wing. Biddle gets there, makes the catch. Anessa Biddle on debut. Scores for the Kiwi Ferns. It's debutante into debutante for the first tries in this game.
Well, Anessa Biddle has given us a glimpse into why she got Rookie of the Year in the NRLW competition, and the Kiwi Ferns held their nerve here. Racine McGregor, such vision, has had it all season. That continues. Great kick up into the air, well timed by Biddle. The Jillaroos just weren't there in numbers because they compressed their defence to manage the middle and couldn't get over in time. And while Jamie Chapman's fast and strong, she wasn't enough for Anessa Biddle, and the Kiwi Ferns get some points on the board.
Yeah, Joey, no surprises there. The Jillaroos did have compressed defence, and Ray McGregor has been taking advantage of that all season in the NRLW, leading tries off the boot of Racine McGregor. So I'm surprised the Jillaroos hadn't done their homework on that very same scenario.
The former Otara Scorpion, Anessa Biddle, Dally M Rookie of the Year, as you pointed out. Also, Cronulla's player out of the season just gone in NRLW. Obviously their Rookie of the Year award recipient as well, but the provider, Racine McGregor, who scooped the pool on the awards front last season.
Yeah, I was in contact earlier in the week with one of their captains, Georgia Hale, and she said, we're getting ready for this new wave of Kiwi Ferns, and what better way to go about it than get your first try by a debutante.
Racine McGregor trying to add the extras. She pushes it across the face, so 6-4. McGregor kicking for the first try, unable to kick the conversion, and Ricky Henry, no doubt delighted with that fight back. And most of the way they've played early in this game.
Absolutely. Ricky Henry, as we mentioned, you know, had such a wide variety of experience and talent from the NRLW season to put into his new look Kiwi Ferns team, and they've come up with some points early. There's only 2 points in it.
The Kiwi Ferns haven't beaten Australia since the 2016 Anzac Test in Newcastle. The Jillaroos on a 14-test winning streak. And the bounce from the kickoff goes back towards Janice Parker. A few nervous moments there for the New Zealanders. Lation Albert-Jones through McGregor on for Hilmoana. A penalty now to the Kiwi Ferns.
Just a little bit too keen in the defensive line there. They weren't back on side, and the Kiwis now will get a piggyback downfield from the boot of Ray McGregor.
If you've joined us late, they met twice in the World Cup. 2 wins to Australia, 10-8 in the group stage, 54-4 in the World Cup final. 9 debutants today for the Kiwi Ferns. Georgia Hale playing her 13th test for New Zealand. One of the experienced leaders in this lineup. Here's Takaranga Katoa, one of those 9 debutants. Momentum with the visiting nation here. Hill Moana has strong contact come from Shannon Martor. Now Takaranga Katoa passing for McGregor, who dummies and straightens into the tackle from Samaima Taufa. Over the top, it's Keely Davis. Brooke Anderson finding Laishan Albert-Jones, who grubbers, and it's scooped up by Upton. She's trapped by the opposition fullback, R.P. Nichols. And here are the New Zealanders forcing Australia to come out of their 20-metre zone.
Yeah, lovely little play there by the Kiwi Ferns. You saw there was a lot of pressure on Racey McGregor. She was not in position to take that kick, so relying on her second rower to grub a one through.
Laishan Jones has been outstanding for the Newcastle Knights. What I love about her, she's got the skill sets of a half. You saw there in her kick, Tasha, but she's been doing a tremendous job up front in the second row as well. So when it comes to international football and rep football, that just makes you so much more valuable to your team.
Good go forward for Jess Elliston. Last play, Brigginshaw goes along the ground. R.P. Nichols has the ball jump up, but gets it in good position here. And they are right in this game, the Kiwi Ferns. Just over 16 minutes played as Leanne Tafanga scored 5 tries for West's Tigers this NRLW season. Mele Hafanga. Look how strong she is. Walking away down the ground, dragging Kernick and Kelly with her. Nevada George off the bench for Ricky Henry. Out there in number 15. Hale passing through McGregor. They keep it going the same way. Tessa Bulle, the second-year Sydney Rooster, gets her hands on the ball. McGregor, kick looks too heavy. Bounces easily over the dead ball line. So 1-1 on that front from these teams today. Ricky Henry has a headache as a result.
Well, it makes you wonder, is that space behind the try line any shorter at this particular oval? Because 2 very experienced kickers have found it too heavy and ran dead.
They couldn't get shorter in goals than they experienced in England at the World Cup.
That's true. That's so
no
true.
sooner had they started than they were finished. Now, it's Martor going to her fellow middle forward, Samaima Taufa. Nice, hard, fast surface up at Townsville for obvious reasons. And now Upton holds the pass brilliantly. Surges was looking for Robinson. The ball out in front of the Jillaroos right winger. The defence does enough just.
Yeah, look, it was a great pass to Jess Surges. Well held up here by Upton, and why wouldn't you commit yourself to tackling Upton as Hafanga just did? But that last pass there, I think a little bit forced, or maybe it was the hit from, I think, R.P. Nichols coming in on the legs there of Jess Surges.
In slow motion, it looks an inaccurate pass, but when you're at speed at this level, Maddie, it's just those millisecond moments. And what we've got is these tremendous athletes. Those 2 in particular don't play club football together, don't play origin football together. So the first time they're under pressure is in a test match, and it can take a little bit to get that right.
I know Leanne Tafanga didn't touch the ball or make a tackle, but her positioning forced Surges to throw the ball out in front of Robinson and hope that her winger got there. A task too much because of the positioning of Tafanga. Now Brooke Anderson. Clear, warm evening in Townsville, temperature in the mid-20s. Very pleasant for playing and watching rugby league. The crowd will build towards the Australia-Samoa men's test. To follow this one, as George on play 5 takes a tackle from Kernick and Martor. McGregor elects to go through the hands. Quinlan, Hafunga, Natafunga, back through Buller, and she throws it straight to Keely Davis. Onto the ground now, Emma Tonagato.
Well, you can see the game loosening up just a little bit. As Joey mentioned earlier, that first 10 minutes of the game is always very, very tight. But the Kiwis, they made 46 metres in the first 5 tackles. They just came up with an error right at the end. Didn't get to the kick, which is now allowing the Jillaroos to work their way out.
And it was good scramble defence by the Jillaroos. They were really trying to make up numbers there, and they've responded quite well. But I dare say it's an arm wrestle. They maybe weren't expecting this far into the first half.
Really keen to see how this player goes in that 14 utility role. Emma Tonagato, a star fullback. She's been used at 5'8" by Cronulla this season. Here's Taryn Aitken getting the kick away, down towards RP Nichols, backpedaling, makes the catch on the full. But yeah, Emma Tonagato here defensively and taking a whack. RP Nichols hard into the player, fresh onto the ground. I think she can be dynamic in that bench utility role.
As you mentioned, the positions, she's 5'8". We all knew her as fullback when she won the Dally M, but she's also been used in the lock position for Australia in the World Cup.
The beauty of Emma Tonagato, she's got speed and strength. She's now got over 10 years in international experience between rugby sevens and rugby league. And you're right, she is so versatile in a team like this. You can bring her off the bench and essentially put her anywhere but the front row. However, if you watch her defence, she'd probably survive there as well if we needed her to.
Here's Racine McGregor getting this kick in behind Robinson. It bounces towards the sideline and on the sideline.
We on the play ball, Ali?
That was tight. Ray McGregor, another beautiful kick, finds some space, finds some grass. Awkward bounce there for Julia Robinson, and she's hoping and praying. She's going on the lines out, on the lines out. Come on, hit that line, and there it is.
She did land a 40-30 in the NRLW season. Now a penalty goes to the Jillaroos, a real bailout here. The kick from Racine McGregor threatened to pin the Australians deep in their own half. Instead, they concede the easy get-out. That was never going to be a 40-30 from McGregor, but it had good distance. We know she can pull off that length general play kick. It might be an option for Racine as this game develops.
Yeah, and you can see their captain, their leader, Georgia Hale, keen to pin the Jillaroos down and just rushed out a little bit early there. She averaged in the World Cup for the Kiwi Ferns over 42 tackles per game.
Caitlin Johnston about to enter. The Jillaroos coach, Brad Donalds. What a player to bring off the bench, the Newcastle Premiership winning middle forward. Here's Emma Tonagato, fast feet, little step beats the first defender, and she's wrapped up by Albert Jones. Lauren Brown pulled into the game day 17, out there in that dummy half roll as we speak.
Well, Ali Brigginshaw has taken on the kicking duties, but Lauren Brown kicked 30 goals in the last year's World Cup, and she's a good backup if Ali's filling off.
The kick is taken well by Leanne Tafunga. And now she's lost the ball. A mistake, did the hard work, lost it in the tackle. And the Australians, with 12 minutes left in this first half, are about to get fantastic possession.
Well, you can't help but feel there's an energy lift with those players that have come off the bench, and that's their job. Their role is to come on when the girls start to get tired and give a little bit of energy. But look at this tremendous defence by the Jillaroos. There's 4 of them on the ground. They leave the Kiwis in a position to lose the ball, and it's fantastic field position with the Kiwi Ferns on the back foot.
In the World Cup final, there were try-scoring doubles from Kelly, Surgis and Cherrington. Who gets the ball here? Taryn Aitken takes on Racine McGregor, who stays in the tackle, aided by Shanice Parker. Koenig. This is Taufa. Now Tonagato wrapped up, driven backwards in the tackle. RP Nichols, good defence, one-on-one. Brigginshaw. Surgis, close to the line, another good legs tackle. This time it's Anderson. Brown, the crash play for Martor, who's picked up and driven sideways. Good goal line defence. Can the Kiwi Ferns keep it up? The last here, Brigginshaw. Now Aitken through the line. Nichols gets it and then gets crunched by Olivia Koenig, who forces the goal line dropout.
This is what international rugby league is all about here. Amazing defence by the Kiwi Ferns. In any other time, those players for the Jillaroos that were running at the line, particularly the last World Cup final, would have easily got 4 points, but they were just numbering up and not just getting there, doing an absolute job, slowing down the play of the ball and putting the pressure on the Kiwis. But the Jillaroos followed their chase and they get the ball back.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and they ended up with a great result with a goal line dropout, and the Kiwis still have a lot of defence here to do.
Now Caitlin Johnston. That most recent set was a fantastic advertisement for the women's game. Goal line defence, the kick through the line, the chase and defence. Here's Upton going to Koenig, looking for the offload. Tamika Upton, dangerous here. Taufa wrapped up by Jasmine Fongavini. And Taufa is very, very close.
Hold up. He's got an injury here. Tackle 3.
Todd Smith calling a halt to things while he checks on an injured player.
That last run by Taufa, she looked well and truly wrapped up, but she still managed to steal an extra couple of metres.
It's Racine McGregor, the co-captain and halfback, holding a sternum type injury, or is it a hand? No, it's a hand. Wrist.
Here's that ball well held up again by Upton.
Did Olivia Koenig land on the wrist, or was it ajar as she made initial contact? Anyway, it looks like she'll be able to continue, albeit in discomfort. Sigh of relief from Kiwi Ferns coach Ricky Henry, assisted by George Carmont and David Fayumu. Brooke Anderson, while that has been going on, is sent for a head injury assessment.
Well, she's been given great service from dummy half. In the try that led up, it was a lovely long pass from dummy half from Brooke Anderson. I didn't actually see the hit on the head, but hopefully she'll be fine.
The Jillaroos, here's Johnston trying to bulldoze her way in. Caitlin Johnston held up. No, she's not, she got it down. The ball finished in the air. Georgia Hale thought she might have done enough, but off the bench with impact. Well, Caitlin Johnston.
Congratulations to Caitlin Johnston. That is just your old-fashioned hard prop try. She does that wonderful line there. The Kiwi Ferns can read it. They know it. They're there, but they just can't stop her. She's too big and too strong. She comes off the bench. She's such a fantastic impact player. I'd go so far as to say one of the best in the world in women's rugby league. Fantastic in Origin, fantastic for the Jillaroos, and fresh off the back of a win with the Newcastle Knights in the NRLW Grand Final.
And it's a great little dummy there to Emma Tonegado, and everybody knows how dangerous Emma Tonegado can be, but you're right, Joey, the power, the impact, the strength of that young woman on screen there, Caitlin Johnston. She's great to have on your team and really impact off the bench. There's Emma Tonegado, that dummy pass, nice. It sets Caitlin Johnston coming back in against the grain.
Two good defenders there. Laishan Albert-Jones, Georgia Hale, but Caitlin just wanted it too much. Having just finished her third season as a Newcastle Knight after starting in NRLW as a Sydney Rooster. So 2 grand finals, 2 wins for Caitlin. Last year's Dally M Prop of the Year. The New South Wales Blues could have done with her earlier on this season, but she missed that series because of injury. Ali Brigginshaw makes it 12 points to 4. Jillaroos over the Kiwi Ferns.
Caitlin Johnston, you mentioned that she started as a Rooster, but that was before the Knights actually had a franchise in the NRLW. She was always going to be a Newcastle Knight. Loves it.
Got quite the resume. 4 times an Indigenous All-Star, represented the Blues, Jillaroos, the Prime Minister's 13.
Brad Donald's got to be happy at half-time with the effort from his bench. Emma Tonegado, Caitlin Johnston, Lauren Brown, they've all come on and lifted the Jillaroos. The Jillaroos are doing a fantastic job. The Kiwi Ferns have defended tremendously today, but they really need to tighten that up and not let this lead get any bigger.
Ali Brigginshaw onto the kickoff, and here's the try scorer just throwing herself at the defence. Caitlin Johnston, 22 years young and loving it. Backed up by a strong carry from Kennedy Cherrington off the bench. Now Olivia Koenig finding their rhythm, the Jillaroos. Building a really strong set off the back of their second try here. Brown for Tonagato. Now Cherrington, the Parramatta captain. Brigginshaw on to Keziats, the West Tigers captain. In fact, there are 8 players in this game who captained their NRL clubs or NRLW teams this season. The completion is a bomb, a tricky one for Arpy Nichols under her crossbar. He makes the gather and is then driven backwards.
What a great chase there by the Australian Jillaroos. I just thought Melee Hafunga was going to do one of her usual line breaks after I've just given the Jillaroos a wrap.
The run from Anessa Biddle, all-purpose. A couple of times this season, Melee Hafunga, we know how dangerous she can be. Didn't see a lot of ball in a couple of Broncos games, but clearly today there's a push to give her early ball, to give her possession with some room to move, which has looked dangerous a couple of times. Nevada George with it. Racine McGregor able to shake off that hand-wrist injury, kicking across the ground. Julia Robinson looking to counter here, beating 2 or 3 before being wrapped up by Fongavini.
Jillaroos took that tackle just outside the 40, so they're in good field position again.
There is Melee Hafunga. Tonagato. Cherrington loses the ball. Good tackle down low. Amalia Pasakala. Kennedy's frustrated with herself.
Kennedy Cherrington, talk about impact off the bench. Kennedy Cherrington is another one of those players that really comes on and absolutely lifts the team. She'll be disappointed with that carry, but believe me, she'll be back bigger and stronger.
Played only the 5 games for Parramatta because of that tackle gone wrong, that dangerous throw that cost her a 4-game suspension. Now Arpy Nichols, the
Great
one-handed gather, then it's stripped. A penalty going to the Kiwi Ferns here. 2 in the tackle, then the illegal strip.
Well, she did well to hang on to that ball in the first place. But you can see there, yet Jess Surgis known to get away with a good clean strip. Not so clean that time, Jess. 2 of you in there.
Well, at the beginning of it, it was 1-on-1, and by the time she'd finished, it was too late for her.
This has been a good first half. We're not done yet, but the halftime show, Hannah Hollis, Sam Bremner, Corbin Baxter, running their rule over these 2 teams. Here's a break for Australia. They get possession when they shouldn't have. Surgis trying to pull free of Bullet, who stays in the tackle. Quick play the ball. And now Brigginshaw on the front foot. Cherrington takes a good tackle right around the midriff from Jasmine Fongavini. Good off the bench, the Kiwi Ferns. Tonagato. Taryn Aiken passing to no one. The set move didn't work. There were players going left, right and centre, and the ball landed somewhere in the middle.
There was some heavy contact there. I'm not sure if people had the ball, but my goodness, there is plenty of physicality out there.
Here's Johnston. Final play, the Jillaroos. Brigginshaw, their conductor, goes through the line. Nichols knocks the ball on, and it's cleaned up by Leanne Tafunga. But the Australians will get the ball back here. More than 3 minutes to play in this half.
A very testing time for the Kiwi Ferns. Nice little ball on the boot there. Now, Arpy Nichols, she's been great under the high ball, great under the grubbers. Unfortunately, just can't catch this one cleanly. The Jillaroos are in one great attacking position.
Look at the tackle in the opposition 20 stats. Commanding advantage to the Jillaroos. 13-4. Tamika Upton, dangerous in this part of the field. Tamika Upton, 2 tries in the grand final. Now 2 tries on test debut.
Well, that's what Tamika Upton can do to you. She picks her time. That was a set play from a centre field scrum, no more than 10 metres outside your own try line. The Kiwi Ferns defence was tiring, but as you can see here, she looks up, she sees she's fast enough to get on the outside shoulder of, I think it was Georgia Hale, and it just opens up for the Jillaroos with 2.5 minutes remaining.
It's a one thing to read the play, it's a whole other thing to defend it when Tamika Upton's coming at you. She's deceptively quick, she can time it well, and she's got those classy players outside of her. You've got Jess Surgis, who's broken lines today off balls from Tamika, so of course the defence has to take that into consideration, but there she is on debut, 2nd try in the first half. Tremendous effort by the Jillaroos.
Yeah, and actually you can see that she's targeted. Georgia Hale actually thinks Melee Hafunga is going to make that tackle, but she's targeted. Maybe Melee Hafunga isn't as quick on the move, and that's what led to that try.
Classic Tamika Upton, drifting across the ground, angling towards a hole, accelerating through it as she slides in to score. This one slides off the boot in ugly fashion for Ali Brigginshaw, but what a player. And in the game to follow, we'll see gun fullbacks as well. James Tedesco captaining the Kangaroos. Dylan Edwards playing on a wing for Malmaninga. Kangaroos, Samoa to follow. And the Samoa spine. Suafar Longo in the fullback role. Dejan Arce playing in the halves. Gordon Chankum Tong, the hooker, and Stephen Crichton, the Penrith centre, playing 5'8". That's next. Australia, Samoa, as the men start their Pacific Championships campaign. Who says the Jillaroos are done in the first half here? As that tackle there, Quinlan, in conjunction with Nevada George, knocking Caitlin Johnson off for apex. And now Kennedy Cherrington receives high contact, gets up laughing, happy with that. Penalty, let's play on.
She loves the niggle. Kennedy Cherrington gets under the opposition's skin, but just going back to Ash Quinlan, that tackle on Caitlin Johnson, not very easy to do, to take the legs straight out from under her. She comes from a touch football background, but what a tackle.
At 12-4 not long ago, it was going to be a decent halftime scoreline for the Kiwi Ferns. They need to be careful here, or run a risk of being down 22-4 in the blink of an eye. Aiken shrugging her way clear of defenders. They'll have time to get through the rest of this set, you'd imagine. Johnston runs into more good defence. Fongavini again. Tackling machine in the first half. And now they've blown at the Jillaroos. Todd Smith spots an error. First 35 minutes at Queensland Country Bank Stadium almost done. A good way for the world champions to start the Pacific Championships. 3 tries to 1. Upton with 2 of them. Johnston the other. And here come the Kiwi Ferns. Nichols tackled by Surgis. Back for Hafunga. Trying to dispatch Olivia Koenig, who stayed in the tackle. It was Cherrington, in fact. She likes the fact that halftime is sounding in the background. Julia Robinson just nursing a problem of her own, but a good first 35 for the Jillaroos. 3 tries to 1. They lead it 16-4.
The world champions look completely in control at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, don't they? The Kiwi Ferns, though, need to troubleshoot at halftime to stop the flow of tries from the Jillaroos. But coming up a little bit later, the men's Australian side take on Samoa. The Kangaroos coach is with Brent Tate.
Well, Mel, some familiar faces and some debutantes. How they handle the week and how's the preparation been?
It's been a good week. You know, Tony, we obviously flew into Proserpine, spent some time down Early Beach, well received there. Hospitality was great. Training facilities was great, and the players really enjoyed themselves. We trekked up the coast here to Townsville, stopped in a bow and had another meet and greet with the rugby league family there, and you know, players are swarmed, but they really enjoyed the experience, and you know, it's just great to be back up in North Queensland playing a Test match.
Samoa are a vastly different team to the World Cup final last year. What do you make of them?
They're a very good side. You know, powerful, quick, good feet. You know, good skill set. So yeah, we've got to defend really well tonight. And you know, we've got to get our things right as well. So, like I said, our preparation's been really good. We understand what our simple plan is, what everyone's role is, and if we can execute well, get to the kick, you know, knock them in the corners, you know, we should do all right.
Some debutants, especially in the back line, very exciting.
Yeah, it is. You know, quick, strong. Yeah, and yeah, be interested to see. I mean, you know, you never know until you debut, eh? So they've trained all week. You know, really mixed in really well with the group. You know, so yeah, so they're in a happy space and good shape. So ready for a big game from them.
You sound excited. Good luck tonight, Mel.
Yeah, it's going to be a big game. We'll see what happens.
That game coming up next, but right after this we have the first half highlights of the Jillaroos 16-4 lead over the Kiwi Ferns. Welcome back to International Footy on Fox with Sam Bremner and Corbin Baxter. These are our Nissan halftime highlights. Corbin, the Jillaroos are up by 12 at halftime, and it was none other than the four-time premiership winner on debut for the Jillaroos, the number one, Tamika Upton, crossing for her first try of the half.
Yeah, this is just Tamika doing what Tamika does best. She loves sniffing around the ruck. She loves getting the ball, you know, close to the try line, ball in two hands, really threatening, and defenders just fall off her because they don't know if she's going to put someone else in a hole or if she's going to run herself. So she's been super threatening for the Jillaroos.
She certainly has, and like you said, Corbs, this is what she does best. And it's funny, in the first 5 or 6 minutes, people are thinking, where's Tamika? And then she comes out of nowhere and scores 2 tries in the first half. But it's the players around her that are allowing her the opportunity to do these wonderful things and to score tries. But in saying that, the Jillaroos have had 5 line breaks and haven't really capitalised on all of them. They've had 6 errors. That's 1 more than the Kiwi Ferns have had. So really, the score should be a lot more to the Jillaroos the way they are playing up against the Kiwi Ferns. It's just their inability at the moment to capitalise on those line breaks. You've seen Jess Surgis go through the line 3 times, and there's been an error off the back of it. So I feel like there's plenty more for the Jillaroos to dig into in this next half. But in saying that, the Kiwi Ferns, they've changed their spine around just going into this second half. They put Tyler Nathan Wong on the field. She's come off the bench. Ash Quinlan went into 9. And we've seen Racine McGregor and Tyler Nathan Wong play together at the Dragons and played unbelievable at the Dragons. Yeah. I feel like Tyler Nathan Wong gives more to the team. She's a runner of the ball. She's a real threat. And Ash Quinlan has been absolutely tackling her butt off in this first half. So I think that's a great move.
So those changes, you think, will stem the flow of tries if Australia seem to find their straps? You're looking to the likes of fullback Appy Nichols to keep that defensive pressure up?
Hasn't Appy been great? Yeah, I think so, Hannah. She's been wonderful, and I think she will be even better off the back of who we just mentioned in Racine McGregor and Tyler Nathan Wong. But saying Appy and her game, her defence has been amazing. Yeah. She's made 1 error, which understandably was a bit of a tough one. She was running real hard to collect that ball off Ali Brigginshaw's kick, but her defence has stopped a lot of tries for the Jillaroos this evening. So, yeah, I think a really big second half from both teams.
The Australia are up by 12 at the break. Do they go on with it, or do you think New Zealand are going to be able to claw back that deficit and maybe get one back on the World Champs?
It's going to be really tough for New Zealand to get back in it if they can't get field position. I feel like Australia have had all the field position, probably should be have more points on the board as well. But when we saw New Zealand in there, Racine McGregor just nailed a kick for Inessa Biddle. I think once they can get into their own, 20 metres, then they're going to see, the likes of Renee and now Tyler Nathan Wong out there set up their outside backs and give them some opportunities for some tries.
This is a new look Kiwi side. We're excited to see how they build up in this second half, but right now they're down by 12. Let's see how this one shakes out. We have kickoff to the second half coming up right after this.
Ali Brigginshaw and Tamika Upton have helped Australia go to a 16-4 lead at half-time. Tasha Gale, Joe Barrett, plenty for Brad Donald to like about the first 35 minutes here.
Yeah, absolutely. But a shout out to the Kiwi defence. They've put some great hits on, great defence, because they've suffered the Jillaroos for lion's share of both possession and territory.
Which would say a lot about possibly why the Jillaroos have also made more errors, Maddie and Tasha, as the Kiwis are up in their face and they're not completing things. I dare say Brad Donald would have told them to tidy that up in this second half.
So the Kiwi Ferns have won 6 of their last 11 tests. The 5 defeats have all been to the green and gold of the Jillaroos. They were very good for much of the first half before slipping late. Australia scoring in the 26th minute through Caitlin Johnston and 32nd through Tamika Upton. Can Racine McGregor, in that half-back position as co-captain of the Kiwi Ferns, help take down Jess Surgis and the Jillaroos with a second half comeback? Taryn Aitken building on a really strong NRLW campaign. Kennedy Cherrington off the bench. Jess Surgis, good to see her back from that fractured finger that cruelled the back end of her NRLW campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see her back fighting fit, but also good to see the captain, Ray McGregor, back out there. Her hand's strapped, but she looks good to go.
Here's Maya Hilmoana, ready to rip in again in the second half. Kezzy Apps, her 15th Jillaroos appearance. Todd Smith gets us going in the second half. A big night of International Rugby League on Fox League. And the start to this second period really important for the Kiwi Ferns. They conceded the first try of the game. Can't afford another try early after half-time. The defence up quickly. Tonagato and Johnston. Anderson to Parker. And App slides down around the legs.
Interesting bit of history with Shanice Parker. I actually played alongside with her mother, shout out to Danielle, in the first World Cup.
He played her junior rugby league in WA. Shanice Parker. Here's Georgia Hale. Now Anderson on for Tyler Nathan Wong, a dual international now. The kick taken by Julia Robinson. And let's not gloss over the debut from the number 14, the Kiwi Ferns. Tyler Nathan Wong, a gold medalist as a rugby sevens player for New Zealand, having played for the Black Ferns rugby union team. Here she is, a member of the Kiwi Ferns. Well done. Up towards the middle of the ground, and look at Tonagato, fearless, running with acceleration into the clutches of Hilmoana. Brown cut down on halfway. Good tackle from Nevada George. And Brigginshaw, her kick to complete Australia's first test post half-time, or first set after the break. This is Leanne Tafunga. Mele Hufanga. Can they get into a grind, the Kiwi Ferns? Unable to do that early in the first half, with a couple of errors cruelling them early on. Vanessa Biddle had her moments. The debutante and NRLW rookie in 2023. Big year for the 21-year-olds.
And as you can just see, Brooke Anderson gets herself into dummy half there. She's obviously passed her HIA to come back out on the field, which is a good sign for the Ferns.
Rooster Amalia Pasakala with a carry there. Goes away from her now. Straight from Otessa Bullet. Straight into Kezzy Apps. Here's the kick from McGregor. Just measuring this one. It bounces kindly for Tamika Upton. 2 tries for Tamika off the back of her 2 tries in the grand final for Newcastle. Game on the line at Accor Stadium on grand final day. Up stepped the Dally M medalist to win it for the Knights. And she's gone over twice again in the first 35 minutes here. Robinson. 5 tries for her in the NRLW season just gone. Tonagato to Upton. Pule is there along with Tyler Nathan Wong. Kennedy Jerrington, her usual busy self, off the bench in the first half. And the kick here from Brigginshaw, her usual composed self. Leading the chase as well and making the tackle effectively, assisted by Surgis and Kezi Apps.
Well, the Kiwi Ferns have come back out, you know, with the same sort of defensive attitude they've started this second half with, and not allowed Ali Brigginshaw to get a nice deep kick, handing it over, you know, in the back corners. They handed it over at the 30, so still great defence by the Kiwi Ferns.
Hilmawana, held by Kelly and Brown. They go away from Shanice Parker on this right side. Back to the left through McGregor. Tyler Nathan Wong getting away from Apps. And rounding her up, it's Tonagato. And as they arrive at the final play, McGregor straight down the ground, splitting the two at the back. They want it to pull up, and Julia Robinson holds her nerve, and they get a 7-tackle set as a result.
That was well left by Robinson. It had both the other way, and the Kiwi Ferns had have chased. It could have potentially turned into points. What you can see from the Ferns in this half is they're a lot more settled, and they seem to be a lot more in tune with each other. When you consider that since they last played as a national side, there was only 6 of them returning from the World Cup, as opposed to the Jillaroos. 13 of the run-on side tonight for the Jillaroos played in a World Cup. So that team takes time. Sometimes it takes years to get into that rhythm, and I get a sense what's going on there with Racine McGregor from the Ferns. Even just in 35 minutes, they've found a rhythm and a synchronicity with each other that they haven't had until now.
Racine McGregor had the tomahawk out. She was trying to take the arm of Caitlin Johnston off, and the Australian interchange forward was holding on for grim death.
I thought that was very brave from Racine McGregor. She's got a bit of an injured hand there, but she was using her good hand, as you said, Maddie, like a tomahawk, but Caitlin wasn't budging.
And it was grim death for her hand by not letting go, because she was going to lose it sooner or later. Eventually the tackle was called to a stop. Just Surgis.
I didn't know if she was punching or slapping. Something different.
Tyler Nathan Wong goes to Mele Hufanga. Mele had 5 runs for more than 50 metres in the first half. Here's Shanice Parker. Didn't score a try in her first 3 NRLW seasons, but got 6 this year, Shanice.
Yeah, she's in fine try-scoring form, and wouldn't it be good for the Kiwi Ferns to open up the scoring in this second half?
Anderson going to her halfback. McGregor on to Parker. It's taken really well. Anessa Biddle had to dive for the ball. Got there just off the grass, completed the catch, and now Amalia Pasakala couldn't get away from Lauren Brown. Final play. Here's McGregor. The kick is the option. Well weighted. Tyler Nathan Wong was there. So too Julia Robinson, who not for the first time bails Australia out in goal.
Well, what a great kick put through there. I think you said it was from Tyler Nathan Wong. Yes, it is. It's gone out through the hands here. But that's that save by Anessa Biddle. I thought she actually bobbled that, but she didn't. And so Racine McGregor's threaded the ball through here. Lovely chase by Tyler Nathan Wong, and the Jillaroos are pinned in.
And now the goal line dropout rolling down the ground, and scooped up patiently by the Kiwi Ferns. Nevada George playing it cool. Tessa Bullet, just 20 years of age still, after her second year of NRLW. Georgia Hale. They crave the first try of the second half, the Kiwi Ferns. They're in position to achieve that here. McGregor dummying. And well tackled by Tonagato, one-on-one. The former Dragon against the current Dragon. Anderson out of dummy half, trying to roll over the top of the defence, which holds her up in goal. Last play. The Jillaroos defensive line regroups for one more tackle. McGregor, Tyler Nathan Wong, here's Melee Hufanga, a bit of footwork, a lot of power, and a try. Melee Hufanga, a star of the World Cup, starring again for the Kiwi Ferns.
Well, we said we wanted the Kiwi Ferns to open up the scoring in the second half, and they've done just that through Melee Hufanga. But look at this. They're on their last. You think that Ray McGregor's going to pass it. She shoots out a beautiful ball really quickly. You've got Melee Hufanga steaming onto the ball and open up the points for the Kiwi Ferns.
Tremendous work there by the Kiwi Ferns. We can see in the replay Hufanga, that's why she's in Dally M Team of the Year, and she's an absolute champion of the Kiwi Ferns rugby league team. These are the Kiwi Ferns from the days of old. They're patient, they're clinical, they build pressure. Their completion rate is up to 79%. It's better than the Jillaroos, and they are putting themselves in a position to chase down this lead.
7 tackle busts today, Joe. But look at the footwork here to leave Kennedy Cherrington getting nothing but a slap on the thigh, and then the power as she goes over the top of Brigginshaw and Upton. 77 tackle busts in the NRLW season this year. Second only to Vani Politi, who's out with a knee injury, not playing in this test for the Jillaroos. Racine McGregor steers it through. Very much game alive at Queensland Country Bank Stadium.
Yeah, they're just 6 points in it now, but back to Melee Hufanga, the footwork that she showed here at the line, to have such pace, power, strength and footwork, 3 Jillaroos, no chance of stopping her there.
The Kiwi Ferns only member of the Dally M Team of the Year. She was the centre or a centre of the year in that lineup. We do name 2 centres and 2 edge forwards. It's your 1 through 13, and she was a centre of the year alongside Isabel Kelly. A Jillaroos centre today.
And Yazzie Clydesdale will be watching from the sidelines. She, of course, also a Dally M second rower, but sitting off 1 match suspension.
Yeah, in the Jillaroos squad, come into contention before the Melbourne game. The Jillaroos playing 2 tests as part of the Pacific Championships. This one, and then it's the Kiwi Ferns again in Melbourne, Saturday, October 28th. The Kiwi Ferns go back home to Eden Park next Saturday against Tonga. Brooke Anderson hoping to star in that game and the second half here as Harpy Nichols prepares to return from her head injury assessment. Racine McGregor, her kick in behind Upton. So it's starting to work for the Kiwi Ferns. Upton links with Robinson. Second half possession helping the New Zealanders 70% so far.
Well, in the first half, the lion's share of possession, as we mentioned, was in favour of the Jillaroos. It's turned away now to the Kiwi Ferns, and they've turned that possession into points, most importantly.
Next up, Kangaroos against Samoa. James Tedesco captaining Australia. Junior Barlaw leading the Samoans. A new look Samoan lineup. Only 4 survivors from their World Cup final defeat against Australia. Here's Brigginshaw on to Kezi Apps. A converted try the difference. Early in this second half, Brigginshaw along the ground in behind Leanne Tafanga. And she finds the sideline, giving her team a breather, chance to set the defensive line here.
Well, we know the Jillaroos have such strike in their attack right across the park, and if they get within 20 metres and you've got someone like Tamika Upton near the try line, they're very dangerous. But equally, the Kiwi Ferns are playing a little bit more of their own style of rugby league in this half, and it's really starting to show, and they seem quite settled in what they're doing.
Strong carry delivered by Jasmine Fongavini, bumping Lauren Brown out of the way. Tyler Nathan Wong on for Otessa Poulet. They've fallen into a nice rhythm, the Kiwi Ferns. Georgia Hale Made her New Zealand Rugby League debut in 2014. This is her 13th test. And she's the co-captain. Ball to ground, picked up by McGregor. Back for Arpy Nichols, onto the ground. Tyler Nathan Wong finding Hafanga. And Kennedy Cherrington won't be beaten this time. Strong defensive effort. McGregor high. It's allowed to bounce dangerously by Robinson, who loses it backwards. Upton there to clean up. And they say, fear not, we had it under control the whole way.
I hate it when they let the ball bounce, especially when you've got such a good, chase on the ball. You don't know which way that ball's going to bounce. Luckily for the Jillaroos there, Tamika Upton was there to finally clean that one up.
Well, Racey McGregor's put the Jillaroos under all sorts of pressure in this test match, but I love the way Tamika Upton just looks so calm. Her facial expression is the same no matter what's going on, and it was messy, but she cleaned it up, got the job done.
No dramas. What are you worried about, Coach?
Tonagato finding Aiken. Wrapped up by Pasakala. Last play. A kick from 12 metres their own side of halfway. Across the ground for Anessa Biddle. This young, eye-catching outside back. Shanice Parker looking to do some work through the middle. McGregor on for Takaranga Katoa, who had Olivia Koenig down around her ankles to make the stop. Parker again, this time on the other side of the field. Sakala can't beat the tackle of Koenig. And now Hale. So Shanice Parker for the Kiwi Ferns playing right centre, but she's jumping up everywhere, just looking to get involved. McGregor, Tyler Nathan Wong, here's Melee Hafanga, centre on the other side of the ground. And 4 Jillaroos swarm in around her. Changeover, they elected to run it on the last and give it up 15 metres out.
There was a good response from the Jillaroos. They've learnt from the last try the Kiwi Ferns scored, and look at the numbers there as the Kiwi Ferns look to go left and rely on Melee to do something magical. The Jillaroos, rushed up and got the changeover.
I wonder if they angle play towards Jamie Chapman, a hat-trick hero in the grand final in that beaten Gold Coast team. She's only had 4 runs so far for the game in comparison with 9 Julia Robinson on the other wing. She's so strong and such a ruthless ball carrier. They head towards her wing now, and Koenig goes through the line. Here's Upton. Was she tackled before receiving the ball? Touch and go. Nevada George taking no chances. Aiken. And they'll give it back to the Kiwi Ferns. They got inside the 20 on the last, but couldn't connect any further than Taryn Aiken.
Well, it was absolute desperation by Nevada George, just grabbing the jersey there of Tamika Upton and not letting go for the life of her. Here's the ball. Beautiful pass from Olivia Koenig. Finds Tamika Upton, and there's Nevada George hanging on for dear life.
Tamika Upton was looking at a hat-trick on debut. Still plenty of time to tick that box today. 2 in the bank already. 18.5 to play. This has been an intriguing contest. The Australians threatening to pull away late in the first half, but Melee Hafanga scoring post-half time to make it a converted try the difference. McGregor's kick away from Upton. And again, she links with a winger. This time it's a run for Jamie Chapman. I know you've got a lot of time for the player you call fast cars, Tasha Gale. Jamie Chapman, as we see Amelia Pasakala head to the rooms. Now Julia Robinson, good tackle. Brooke Anderson, legs. And lifting the Australian ball carrier effectively, not dangerously. Tonagato finding Samaima Taufa, the workaholic, through the middle. The strong campaigners, Canberra, arrived in NRLW really well. Now Tamika Upton, the outside-inside ball. Tonagato loses it. It was fullback to one-time fullback, and only the last carry let them down.
And what a dangerous piece of play, perfectly executed by the Jillaroos, but Arpy Nichols over in cover defence, upsets a dead set certain try for the Jillaroos.
And the Arpy Nichols tackle, let's give that more credit than we did initially. She's there to force the ball free, really. Emma Tonagato was in to score, but Arpy Nichols, her 12th test for New Zealand. She was there when NRLW kicked off as a warrior, Arpy. And Mele Hufanga looking more and more dangerous with each carry. Up above 100 run metres now, the only Jillaroo to do that. Jess Surgis, 10 carries, 114 run metres. But here are the Kiwi Ferns. 2 tackles left in this set. And that's good go forward. Tessa Bulle looking to offload. Tonagato riding her into the ground at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. McGregor chipping, looking for the outside player. In Nichols, ball beats them. Touch or dead in goal. Hard to tell from that angle. The result will be the same. Australia back to the 20 for 7 tackles.
Well, the Kiwi Ferns are relentless in their efforts just to turn up for each other, and Racy McGregor's having a great time there with her kicking game. And RP Nichols, after a try-saving tackle at one end of the field, narrowly misses an opportunity to score a 4-pointer, which would have been on the verge of a miracle try the way the ball bounced up, but still it's that constant pressure on the Jillaroos defensive line. It's keeping the ball, it's completing the sets that's just going to help them try and close that lead. But equally, the Jillaroos, there's not a more experienced international side in Women's Rugby League who know how to handle the pressure.
So let's have a look at this Kiwi Ferns lineup. It looks like Shanice Parker is in the fullback role. RP Nichols playing in that right centre position. So Ricky Henry just mixing it up. The HIA situation in play.
Well, Shanice Parker has played a little bit of fullback role over the last few years with the North Sydney Bears and covers that position very well.
Here's Taryn Aitken taking a tackle from Anessa Biddle. Davis through Taufa. And it's Upton on to Kezi Apps. Mele Hufanga doing the defensive work. Davis to the short side. Brigginshaw says no, open please. And now Upton, her kick, knocked on by the Kiwi Ferns. It was put down by Takaranga Katoa. Tough ball to take, driven hard and low from close range.
Here's that ball that we see. It doesn't really matter how it got out there, but...
Ooh, was it off? Should it have been a goal line dropout? Forced on Australia off Jamie Chapman last.
Looked like those long arms of Jamie Chapman may well have just got to that ball first.
The right boot of RP Nichols touching goal. And did she touch the ball? You'd need to forensically examine that. We don't have time here, and it's history now. The Jillaroos looking to land a big blow as Keely Davis comes to Martor. No look pass to Taufa. That was slick from Shannon Martor. Catch and pass. Brigginshaw, Kezi Apps had that great try-scoring run during the middle part of the NRLW season. Davis out of dummy half, coming down on the line. Keely Davis, I think she scored.
Have no try. Coming to tackle 4. We have the ball short. Just also review an interference from the player who played the ball also.
Well, the ref is disagreeing with you there, Maddie.
Todd's in a much better position than I am. It was telegraphed that she was going in a dummy half, and Todd spotted it perfectly.
No player has been interfered with from making a tackle. The Keely Davis is tackled short of the try line. We have a decision.
And significantly short.
HIA, okay. 11 just going off HIA, Bill. They want to get someone on.
So Odessa Boulet about to go off for a head injury assessment. So that will be the end of her game with 13.5 minutes left. She won't get back on the field even if she passes her head injury assessment. The mandatory 15 minutes off the field.
Just look at those eyelashes. They're huge. Here's that scoot out from Keely Davis, which she's known for so very often. Falling short.
The fake lashes nearly mandatory now in NRLW.
That long, look at them.
What about in your day? You fake lashes?
Oh,
too?
Maddie, I got fake lashes for school musicals and my wedding day, but this generation, it's a whole new ball game. They don't all do it, but fake lashes, fake tans, it's what it's all about, isn't it? Not for everybody.
Amalia Pasakala. It used to only be for the TV games. Now every game's on television thanks to Fox League.
Get your lashes on, girls.
Here come the Jillaroos from close range. Tonagato for Aitken. The long ball to ground. And the Jillaroos can't pick it up before Arpy Nichols is there. Wearing one but sliding to a wing. Back end of this game.
Well, that break actually turned out in favour of the Kiwi Ferns. They were in a bit of a dangerous situation there, but they had time to regroup, set their defence. Well, now it looks like Anessa Biddle having a little bit of trouble with, I think it's her left ankle.
There's the ball from Taryn Aiken looking to go quickly to Surgis. Look at the replays. There's the grimace here. The Pacific Championships, they've burst to life for the first time post the 2023 NRLW season. International footy, men and women, teams from Australia, New Zealand and across the Pacific. And at Amy Park, October 28, the Jillaroos face the Kiwi Ferns, then the Kangaroos against the Kiwis. You can get your tickets, nrl.com/tickets.
Well, Anessa Biddle did well there to stay on the field. It looked like an awkward landing, and then with the full weight of Jamie Chapman landing on top of that left ankle, she's done well.
The Kiwi Ferns chasing a converted try to lock it up. Georgia Hale on for McGregor. Now Nathan Wong. Loved her first season at St George Illawarra. Tyler Nathan Wong. Takalanga Katoa, her Dragons teammate. Now McGregor out the back. Parker headed towards the hole, tried to fend on Aiken. Instead, the offload is there. Pasakala goes inside the 10. 2 plays left for the Kiwi Ferns. Quinlan sends it long. Here's Hale, McGregor, and she puts it down. There were numbers on the left. Mele Hufanga was sweating on the chance to go one-on-one with the Aussies. And it's put down. Opportunity, a big opportunity blown there.
With that error by Racine McGregor, we can see her in slow motion. Just a clear drop of the ball, which really shocks me. She's one of the most capable players out there on the field, and she didn't even seem to be under too much pressure. If anything, the Kiwis had the momentum and were looking very sharp. So terrible timing for an error, but Jillaroos can capitalise, hopefully.
Lauren Brown about to return. Saw her sideline. Strong run, Jamie Chapman.
And Anessa Biddle returns the favour with a hard tackle on Jamie Chapman. Biddle's tackle.
Pops a whack from Amalia Pasakala as well.
Physicality is still out there.
We've grown accustomed to it through 6 seasons of NRLW. Last year's delayed World Cup won by Australia 54-4 against the Kiwi Ferns. No margin like that this evening as the kick goes high forward. Parker, good catch under pressure. She then spins away from Lauren Brown. Nathan Wong. Her pass is a wide one. Another good carry from the New Zealanders, who realise they're right in this.
Go with her!
The Funga backed up here by Arpy Nichols.
And you could hear the call, go with Arpy. They thought Arpy was through then.
Joe, do they set up here again for a shift towards Mele Hufanga?
Well, it's worked for them so far today, and Mele's got more tackle busts than most, but they might just go to the other side because Shanice Parker's having a blinder as well. So the problem for the Jillaroos is the Kiwis have got strike on both sides, but looks like left is the side.
A kick out towards Hufanga, but Julia Robinson stands tall, makes the catch, and almost gets to her 20-metre line. So inside the final 10 we go. 3 tries to 2. A double to Tamika Upton and 1 to Caitlin Johnston. Here's Surges trying to add her name. Biddle and Hufanga, the try scorers for New Zealand. Brown shoots out a dummy half before finding Kezzy Apps. Samaima Taufa shaped to pass, then put her head down and went to work with the run. Aiken supported inside by Shannon Martel. That was a dummy for Tamika Upton. Well read by Takaranga Katoa. Aiken measures the kick. Well done, RP Nichols. Getting off the ground to find safety, make the catch.
Yeah, great communication there from Shanice Parker, who's moved back into fullback. RP into the wing, but RP said, "No, Shanice, I got this," and took it very well. Good communication between the Kiwi Ferns.
Good second half, low error counts. The teams have been willing to roll their sleeves up, be patient, get in the grind. Here comes starting front rower, Maya Hilmoana. 3 years as a Sydney Rooster, Mel Meninga. With Michael Hagan to his outside. RP Nichols running out of room. The pass put her under pressure, and they'll give it back to the Jillaroos here.
Yeah, RP really with nowhere to go there, but great defensive cover tackle there by Jamie Chapman. Made very, very sure of the fact that the entire body and ball and being of RP Nichols was put into touch there.
Huge pressure by the Jillaroos defence. Now they've had more errors, less ball, less completion rate, but they're in the lead and they've got the capacity to extend that, but they're running out of time and they really need to keep the pressure on.
Here's Samaima Taufa looking to referee Todd Smith, appealing for the penalty before it came. The whistleblower obliged. Not close enough to take a shot for goal here. Leading by 6 points. Kezzy Apps. And now, first play, they get it back-to-back penalties.
This is going to hurt.
Are they close enough now to take a shot? No is the answer. Lauren Brown pointing straight for the sideline.
They want the 6 points, I think, Matt, not 2.
Yep.
Yeah, back.
Here's Kezzy Apps. So they're in great position. Australia. Taufa angling towards the posts. Brown marshals the troops, finds Aiken, Upton, catch and pass. Now Kelly had to rush her pass. Chapman, they lose ground on that play. The rushing defence frustrating the Australians. Aiken. Is Brown sending Martor on a straight carry. She gets the offload. Back for Samaima Taufa. Samaima just short. Good tackle. Maya Hilmoana. Not a good tackle. It's a great stop. Knocking the ball free.
Yeah, fantastic defence there by Maya Hilmoana. Getting Samaima Taufa to cough that ball up is no easy task. But as you see, she just burrows down. Powerful runner. Must have just lost the... There it is. She's lost the ball, and that's a break for the Kiwi Ferns.
Straight after we're done here, Hannah Hollis, Sam Bremner, Corbin Baxter will give us their thoughts on this absorbing test. Then Corey Parker and Jai Arrow join the panel before Andrew Voss, Greg Alexander, Brent Tate bring you Australia, Samoa. A repeat of the World Cup final won by the Kangaroos 30-10. They've won all 4 tests against Samoa now, Hafanga in discomfort, not in position to attack here. Janice Parker might not have seen that, angled towards Hafanga's side of the ground, and he's shut down by Kezi Apps. 5 minutes left. Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Australia by a converted try. Quinlan. Misguided from dummy half. Now McGregor's under pressure. She'll need to get the ball away. Another tackle though. So she was well aware of the tackle counts. And here's Tyler Nathan Wong trying to fashion a kick under pressure. She does so. Not a great meter eater. Upton means Australia will start the sets in New Zealand's half. Surges. Dalfa improving her numbers with every involvement.
And a great tackle there by Georgia Hale, who's exceeded her average. She's put on 44 tackles already.
Kelly the offload, almost bursting through the line. Jamie Chapman had to wait for the ball, rolling towards her. Now Brown has to dive for a pass. Just a couple of scrappy sets from both teams over the last few minutes. But Australia here in attacking position on the final play. Aiken long for Chapman. Did it come off Arpy Nichols? It's knocked on by Australia, says Todd Smith. So there's time with 3.5 left for the Kiwi Ferns.
Well, that is just outstanding defence on the right edge by the Kiwi Ferns. The ball from Taryn Aiken there, the Jillaroos 5'8", out to Jamie Chapman, was on point, and Chapo was ready to catch the ball. But you take a risk when you rush up as a defender out wide. And if it works and it pays off, you can stop a try. If you get it wrong, it results in the opposition getting points. But the risk paid off for Arpy. The ball's changed over. Wonderful effort under pressure.
Arpy Nichols playing fabulous footy at fullback, under the high ball, under the grubber, now moved to wing and pulled off 2 try-saving tackles in the wing position.
I'll go towards the centre position of Hafanga. 130 run metres, 15 tackle busts. Here she is with the offload for Hafanga, also very good. Leanne up around 100 run metres as well on a wing for the Kiwi Ferns. Parker offloading here for Hale. Shanice, the only other Kiwi Fern with more than 100 run metres. So the two centres, even though they've played in other positions at times, very effective. Now McGregor. A little bobble as she completed the catch, just cost her a second or so. Julia Robinson, what a return. And she's injured Tyler Nathan Wong with that carry.
Well, this is a really important set.
Oh, well, it was going to be, Tasha. It was going to be. Your point still stands.
It's important for the Kiwis. It's still important.
It was an important set. And instead, the error gifts Queensland time here to build a couple of sets. If they don't get a result in one, they can force a goal line dropout and get another crack at the Jillaroos late in this game.
And that's exactly what they'll be aiming to do.
Tamika Upton, 2 tries, nearly 200 run metres. A star again for the Jillaroos, but here comes Parker on the outside. Arpy Nichols trying to stay infield. She loses the ball. On the first play, they went wide, flirted with the sideline, stayed in, but couldn't keep control of the ball.
Well, did she try and force that pass? I've given her a huge rap, Arpy Nichols, and what a great game she's playing, but no need to try and force that pass.
Look at this tackle. And it's got ugly, it's gone wrong. Lauren Brown doesn't like it. Straight away, there was concern from Anessa Biddle for Ali Brigginshaw. So strong. We've seen that with ball in hand from Anessa and defensively. And just there, the tackle got away on her.
So it looked okay
The head in the wrong
until
position.
now, but it's above the horizontal and
Slightly.
And you can tell.
straight away she knows
Yeah.
it too.
That's the danger anytime there's a lift in the tackle. If you lose control of it, it ends up beyond the horizontal like that did. Only just, but Nice to see that Anessa straight away checked on.
Angie Flack, superstar physio there for the Jillaroos. She knows what she's doing. I'm sure she'll look after Ali.
I was going to say a titan of women's rugby league, but it's the wrong word given she spent 6 years as a Brisbane Bronco. So to the bin goes Anessa Biddle. But yeah, Ali Brigginshaw playing her 22nd Jillaroos test. Anessa will finish this game in the bin after a strong debut. 10 carries, 81 run metres, a try on debut as well, and Ali sporting the wounds of a test match.
Well, that's no good for the broken nose she got earlier in the season. It's only just healed.
Ali's gone off the field now to have that tended to.
Dally M halfback of the year this year, Ali Brigginshaw. As good at 33 as she was at 23, maybe better. For the 2020 Dally M medalists and leader of the women's game in so many ways. About to be part of another Jillaroos win, so long as they navigate these final few tackles safely. Don't expect any audacious cutout balls. It'll be fairly simple from here, making sure there's no intercept, no error, no chance for the Kiwi Ferns to pounce. Tonagato to Shannon Martor out in front of Taryn Aiken, and immediately Martor says sorry. Probably shouldn't have thrown that. Brad Donald agrees. Time ticks down, and it's 15 in a row for the Jillaroos. The World Cup champs in 2022 start their international season a year later with a victory against their World Cup victims. Australia 16 beat New Zealand 10.
The world champions Jillaroos extend their winning run over the Kiwi Ferns. Sam Bremner, Corbin Baxter, tonight's 6-point win over the Kiwi Ferns is a great tight contest. Such a different result to the cricket score that we saw in the World Cup final last year. The Kiwi Ferns finishing with just 12 players on the field after Ali Brigginshaw went down. But Corbin, when you think about summing up the last 70 minutes that you've seen, was this the game you were expecting from what we have to say is a very new New Zealand side?
I didn't know what to expect. I knew that New Zealand were going to come out and be very strong. They have a very solid side there. And I love that we saw a really tight contest today. I think they played really well in that second half, especially. They kept Jillaroos to 0. They scored the only try in that half, and I think their own errors sort of let them down at the end. They had a couple opportunities to maybe ice off it and even it up, but just were sort of their own enemies at the end there.
It's going to be really interesting to see when these two teams come back together in 2 weeks' time what New Zealand team will be put on the field, because tonight we've seen so many changes in the Kiwi Ferns whilst the game was going. The halves got changed, the hooker got changed. Appy Nichols was having a great game but then went to the wing. Shanice Parker back to fullback. During the whole 70 minutes, the team kept getting changes and they were still playing really well. So when these two teams come back together in 2 weeks' time, it's going to be interesting who are going to play each other.
It's going to be a debut to remember for the one and only Tamika Upton. Sam, she scored 2 tries tonight, almost went over for a third. She tried to get the treble, but it wasn't to be. Your assessment as a former fullback yourself of how she took to the green and gold jersey tonight?
Oh, she's just unstoppable, and she's been waiting so long to represent her country, and there was no doubt in any of our minds that she wasn't going to be anything less than the greatest, and this is what she is. And she could possibly, she's already been the first person now to get the Dally M and the Karen Murphy medal. She could possibly be the first ever female to get the Dally M, the Karen Murphy medal and the Golden Boot. If she keeps playing like this and have a sensational tournament, she could be the first person to do it.
Okay, so Corbin, how on earth are the Kiwi Ferns going to shut her down in week 3 of the Pacific Championship in Melbourne?
Yeah, it's a tough task to shut down Tamika Upton. I'll say Appy Nichols was really impressive defensively tonight. I think Tamika probably could have gone through herself or set up other players around her a few more times, but she made some really great covered tackles in defence, as did Shanice Parker when she moved back there as well. So they just need to be on high alert. If they, talk her out of it. I'm sure she'll still be damaging, but if they just have a bit of a target on her back and they can, talk her out of doing such damaging things.
16-10 at full time in favour of the Australian Jillaroos, Sam Bremner, Cobb Baxter. Thank you so much for joining us on International Footy on Fox. We'll have more reaction from the Jillaroos win a little later in our post-game show. We do turn our attention, though, to the men's match. Australia and Samoa are in action next as International Footy on Fox continues. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Zoo is in action tomorrow morning and you can watch it on Main Event.